Your name?
Ananta.
Ananta.
You talked about like the way that we dress our stuff being superficial and language having that deeper meaning, right? Apart from language, what are other things that hold that deeper difference?
Excellent. See, now she's asking me good questions, because chapter 5 of this book, Being Different, is about non-translatability of language words. Certain words are non-translatable. And so the first point I made about difference is that. The other chapters are about other kinds of differences that are very important. So one of the very important differences is the philosophical difference about the nature of the self. Who am I? Who am I in the Dharma traditions? Is the nature of the self is such that I do not depend on history. I do not depend on a historical prophet. I do not depend. It's nice to have a knowledge of a historical prophet for inspiration, but I do not depend for my higher truth, because I have the capacity to self-realize. I have the capacity to have a higher state of consciousness, a enlightened experience of my own, and all human beings have that. So because all human beings have a built-in capacity to experience something beyond, something higher, directly, without any institution or church or without any historical person being involved, this means we are more interested in our own inner journey. So this is why Indians have a lot of techniques for meditation and yoga and various techniques to mantras, ways of experiencing a higher state. The Abrahamic religions, which are Judaism, Christianity and Islam, depend on a particular historical event that happened long ago, thousands of miles away, to somebody, and that's the final word, and that's the ultimate knowledge. It can never be replaced. You can never have that same experience. A Christian won't believe that he could ever have the Jesus experience, what Jesus experienced directly. A Jew would never be able to say that he can have the same direct contact and the direct experience of Moses. A Muslim would never agree that it is possible for anybody to have the same experience that Muhammad had. But in our tradition, what the rishis experienced, and they wrote Vedas, the Vedas came out of that experience. Every human being has that potential. And every once in a while, some great person comes along who has that experience and who can validate it and teach it again. So we are more interested in pursuing the path of inner experience for ourselves. And this means we are less subjugated to obey some kind of external, institutional authority. We are what I call less history-centric. We are not so dependent on history. The Abrahamic traditions are extremely dependent on history. So the problem with dependence on history is that the wars which are going on over some idea of history can never be solved. Because if you have one idea of history which is necessary and you are fixated and you cannot be flexible, then those who disagree with it and have a different idea, you can't get along with them, you have to fight them. So the reason there's a fight between Islam and Christianity is because the historicity that is claimed in Christianity cannot be accepted in Islam, and the historicity which is claimed in Islam cannot be accepted in Christianity. Superficially they can accept it. Muslims can say Jesus is a great prophet, but they cannot say he's son of God. They cannot believe that. Yeah? Because if they were to accept he's son of God, then it violates their own history. And Christians can say, well, maybe there are some great things written in the Quran and Muhammad was a great man, but they cannot accept that he is the perfect prophet and final prophet because it violates their own New Testament. So we don't have these problems. And therefore we are more flexible and more open and more able to respect others. We can practice respect for others genuinely, not lip service. Whereas these Abrahamic traditions, what they can offer you is tolerance. Tolerance. We tolerate you. They can't offer you real respect. Now, how many of you think that tolerance is something you would like to be? How many of you would like to be tolerated? Raise your hand. Nobody. How many of you would like to be respected? Okay, so you get the point. Imagine in class somebody says, I'll tolerate you to sit next to me. And you'll say, what the heck, what's wrong with me? Why do you have to tolerate me? Nothing wrong with me. To be told I'll tolerate you is like an insult, right? It's an insult. Right? It's an insult. I mean, if in your home your one family member says, I'll just tolerate you at the dining table, it's kind of rude. But you say, I respect you, that's different, whole different meaning. Now you may think this is a very semantic, just simple language issue. It's not. Believe me, for 20 years I have used this idea of asking for mutual respect rather than tolerance, and they have a very difficult time agreeing. Very difficult time agreeing. So whenever you are having an interfaith conversation and people say, oh, we agree to tolerate each other, I want you as Hindus to raise your hand and say, no, let's remove the word tolerance and we'll put the word mutual respect in any resolution, in any declaration, in anything that the people are saying. You should say, I don't like the word tolerance, it's rude, tolerance is not good enough, this is 21st century, we should respect each other. Now the reason they have a hard time, can anybody tell me, raise your hand if you can, why do certain religions which claim exclusivity for themselves have a hard time doing mutual respect, offering mutual respect? Can anybody tell me? They can offer tolerance, right? I mean, religious tolerance is talked about by everybody. We tolerate you. So why not mutual respect? Can you think of a reason? If I respect you, I must consider you to be authentic and valid and worthy, right? So I cannot say you are false and I am true. I am the only true one and you guys are false. Then I can't respect you. Correct? Correct? Because if I think I am the only true one, I am the only idea of truth, I am the only one with truth, and all of you are false, no good, maybe evil, maybe sinners, maybe going to hell, something like that. If I have this view, I can't respect that, correct? I can't respect that. But I can tolerate it. Am I correct? I can tolerate those who are no good, those who think are below me, inferior to me. I can tolerate it. I put up with it. But I can't respect it. So whenever somebody offers you tolerance, one thing I want you to learn today is, you should say, no, I don't think tolerance is a good idea. We want mutual respect. We deserve mutual respect. I offer you respect, but you must offer me respect. How many of you raise your hand now understand the difference between tolerance and mutual respect? Okay, quite a few of you. So that's...
Would you tolerate more questions?
I would respect them. Now, somebody asked me, and you should understand because there are always trick questions that people come up with. So somebody asked me, then you'll have to respect Bin Laden and Hitler. Yeah? So how can you respect everybody? And I said, mutual cannot be dropped from the phrase mutual respect, which means I would respect Bin Laden if he also respects mutually, if he respects others. He cannot respect others, will not respect others, because he believes that only his way is correct and all others he has to kill and fight and all that. And therefore, because he refuses to respect others, therefore he will not get my respect. So my position of mutual respect works such that I will not respect somebody who does not practice respect for others, because it is mutual respect. You see what I'm saying? It is not unilateral, unconditional respect. It is not that I'll respect everybody no matter what, no matter how lousy they are, how criminal they are. No, I practice mutual respect, which means the other person must also practice that respect for others. So, all kinds of very horrible people would not be qualified, not because I'm not offering mutual respect, but because they're not able to accept that idea of mutual respect. So this is one point I want you to take with you. It's a very simple point, it looks like very trivial, but believe me, if you were to read in this book, the first chapter is on this difference, the idea of difference with respect and so on, and I give many stories. Just read that 25 page, read it 2-3 times, understand this idea of mutual respect and why it's different from tolerance. Start putting it into your life, and you will find that people will be quite surprised that you have a very strong point. You really understand something which they never thought of. So many people, so many Westerners, so many Muslims, friends, tell me, look, we never thought of it that way. We never knew that. We all our lives we've been going around tolerating people. And now for the first time we understand what a wrong thing it is. But you see, after they realize it, they also get cornered. They can't change easily because their books, their text does not allow them to respect others. There are others are called infidels, kafirs, heathens, and you can't respect them. You can't. You can tolerate them, but you can't respect them. So you will also find people who will try to pull a fast one on you and pretend, oh yeah, I'll respect you. Then you have to tell him what that means. You have to say things like, okay, we have deities. Do you respect those deities? We have, God can be worshipped as feminine, goddess. Do you respect goddess? Because they don't have goddess. And they don't think it's valid for anyone to have goddess.